Good morning. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210 District Court criminal docket for February 10th, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Pantoja, will you call our next case, please?
Yes, Judge. It's Nunez on page 4. Cause number 2020-0D02897. Cause number 2021-0D02706. State of Texas versus Pedro Nunez. Announcement of counsel, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Christopher Anchonda on behalf of Mr. Nunez. We are ready, Your Honor.
Good morning. And we are here, let's see, for final judges on both cases. Let me see if I can access this. How are we going on this one? Any issues coming up other than probably we have a early trial date?
Yeah, we have an early trial date. No, I'm still going through evidence, Judge. I have received a new offer from the district attorney's office. I have not yet conveyed that to my client. I need to go down and talk to him. But I'm sure I can talk with him and then get back to the DAs with a response or a counter. Well, I'm sure it'll be a counter, but there is still a lot of evidence to go through. I'm still having my investigator look up and talk to people. But I want to, there's one video specifically that I'm still looking for that I'll go ahead and I haven't gone through all the videos yet, so I may still be at the bottom. But if not, then I'll need to approach the state about looking for that.
So I'm not sure if I'm hearing there are things outstanding. If there is, then please file your motions. I know we're set for trial in March. That's not likely.
I think we have backup dates.
We have the backup dates.
Yeah.
But I still want to, I don't know how successful negotiating will be. So I still want to keep that final hearing plea deadline for that March so we can see. That's our next setting. So we'll just check in with you all in the next setting. Mr. Anchonda, I will tell you this though. If you see that there is something outstanding, in other words, you're missing evidence, it's not a matter of going through stuff that's already there, you would please file your motion so we can set that for hearing, because I don't know, some days I'm really pessimistic, some days I'm optimistic. Maybe in June, we're gonna have way better COVID, like maybe not the COVID protocol we have now. And if we get moving on trials, you never know. You never know, we might make it to that trial date.
I have an anticipation that you have far many more backlogged on here on trial than mine. but no, Judge, I will be looking at that, and yeah, I don't. It's like I said, I know what evidence they're saying. I just don't know if it's on there yet.
Okay, so please try and go through that and let us know. I know it's a tight timetable for you, but in any event, we got our dates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Might be excused.
You may. Who's next, Shui?
Okay, Judge Newport on page 8.
Ms. Reyes, are you on this one?
No, ma'am, but I can be on standby. He was originally mine. He finished the SO group. The SO unit was transferred to regular supervision.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is Miss Lada, is it you that is on Newport? Sorry, I just, Ms. Reyes is on the top of my Brady Bunch boxes here, so.
That's okay.
Alrighty, we can get started. I know we reset this for probation to be. Okay, go ahead, Tree.
Yes, Judge. Cause number 2017-0D02410. State of Texas versus Adam Lee Newport. Announcement of counsel, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
James Ray on behalf of the defendant. Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, counsel.
Good morning, and I do see Mr. Newport appearing again. We were reset because we had some scheduling issues last week, but we are here at the defendant's request for a modification of the conditions. Mr. Ray, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Your Honor, my client is married. He has with his wife 2 stepdaughters, Ava Gonzalez, 14 years old, and Emmy Gonzalez, 12 years old. My client and his wife have also had a baby boy who is now just about 1.5 years old. Throughout the course of his probation, Your Honor, and he's been on probation with you for now 4 years, there have been some amendments to permit him to have visitation and access although supervised, with his stepdaughters and his newborn son. My client has now respectively motioned for your honor and the state to consider removing the supervision requirement, allowing him to have the unsupervised visits with his stepchildren and his newborn. And so, your honor, I believe, and I know probation will speak better to this, I believe he's faithfully completed his probation terms and conditions to date. I don't believe that there have been any incidents with regard to him in any way violating his probation. And so with this request, he's been taken off of the sex offender workload and placed with Sandra Lara. I think that was done in the last 6 months, which I believe was an indication of his successful performance on the sex offender workload. And so, your honor, if the state and your honor would consider this or any other relaxation of the conditions with regard to the supervision of his children.
Ms. Lara, Ms. Reyes, actually, if both have an update, I know I did receive a case summary, and I do remember Mr. Newport on some prior performance history. Ms. Lara, you want to start first, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Newport does have 2 prior violations, Your Honor. He had a court hearing on February the 27th of 2018, where he was in violation of the safety zone at the Gold's Gym. There was another violation on October 13th of 2020, where he was in violation of where he was passing out candy bags during a drive-by birthday party. Due to these 2 violations, Mr. Newport did request back in January of 2021 to have unsupervised contact. He was still with the sex offender caseload at that time. At that time, due to his non-compliance, the department was not comfortable asking the court for unsupervised contact. When I received the case in October, Mr. Newport approached me in November of 2021 asking if he can have unsupervised contact. Because I had only had the case for 1 month, I did inform Mr. Newport that the previous decision to have unsupervised contact was denied at that time, that I would stick with that decision as well, Your Honor. In reference to all other conditions, Mr. Newport has completed his sex offender treatment. He has completed his 30-day ACOP, and he has completed his 120 hours of community service. He is delinquent right now $1,031 on his probation fees. Since October of 2021, he's been making payments faithfully each month. And no other violations on the UAs, Your Honor.
Okay. So when we talk about the modification back in August of 2020, I think on the report it says conditions were modified in August 2020 to have supervised contact. That was modified from what? Was it no contact?
Correct, Your Honor.
And I guess since that modification, we had just, I know we had a 2018 violation, but then we've had 1 violation, and that's the handing out the candy, right?
Correct.
In terms of the supervised contact, is it who is doing that? Mom? Is mom the supervised party there? Or is she the one that's making sure that?
The wife. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the wife. Ms. Reyes, were you going to chime in for some reason?
Yeah, just for that, Judge, we kind of tell them with the sex offender caseload that as long as it's somebody over the age of 18 that they are that they have there with them when they have the children present.
And so generally, is that going to be a wife, I guess the person who then requested that the restriction be removed as well?
Your Honor, if I may, I asked and made sure with my client before I considered taking the case that his wife, the mother of his stepchildren, mother of his newborn, join him in this motion, which she has, and she has logged in today. I also asked, Your Honor, that her parents, so his in-laws, join in, because I think when you have the support of your in-laws along with your wife, I think it does speak to the the circle of support that are somewhat nearest and dearest to the children in question. And so they are also logged in and have joined Mr. Newport's wife in support of his motion.
Anything else, Ms. Lara or Ms. Reyes?
No, Your Honor.
Judge, the only concern that we would have right now at that time is that the stepchildren right now are at the current age of the victim at the time of the offense.
And of course, the recommendation on the case summary is that the department is opposed to the modification.
That's
Mr. Reyes, I am too. And so for now, that modification request is going to be denied. There will be continuing supervised contact. I'll say this though, Mr. Ray, I don't know if you will continue to deal with Mr. Newport or not, but you know, after a period of time with more compliance, because I think when it comes to prior violations, I think because of the nature of the underlying case and the concerns here, you know, if we were talking about a different type of case, 1 or 2 violations might not be the deal breaker, but I think this is too delicate of a situation to, what I'm telling you is, so your client understands, I need 100% strict compliance, okay? And that is really for the protection of those children. And so what I also mean to tell you by saying that is if you want to come back with another request down the road, maybe even probation is at a different place over time, I'm happy to revisit it.
Honor, I appreciate the sentiments, and I'll certainly share them with my client as far as and certainly a plan moving forward to see if it would be appropriate to come back and re-urge the request.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you, Mr. Newport. Yes, Ms. Lada?
If I may interrupt, Mr. Newport did request a travel permit for next weekend, the 19th and 20th, to go to Ruidoso with his wife. We would not be opposed. May I get your permission to go ahead and issue that travel permit?
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Alrighty. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Ray. You all are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
Thank you.
To take care. Who's next, Chuy?
Okay, Judge De Sosa Barreto on page 2.
Go ahead.
Cause number 2020-0D01655, State of Texas versus Raul De Sosa Barreto. Announcement to council, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Aaron Delaney, Matney for the state. Stays ready.
Good morning, Your Honor. Omar Cremona on behalf of the defense, ready.
Okay, so what are we set for? Final judges. Wow, a lot of time in custody. And I know, Mr. Cremona, we have an outstanding request to have your client brought over. I don't know if you received the communication on that, but if we're in trial, I'm going to have to probably look at another time.
Okay.
That's the only thing that was being considered there. Okay, so we have final hearing plea deadline in March, jury trial in March. Where are we?
I believe we have a deal worked out. The last I remember is that they needed help. It was too difficult to translate the plea papers over the phone with their client, so they needed it in person. That's the last.
So yeah, because we'd have to schedule the interpreter, Your Honor.
Okay, let me ask. I don't know, Chuy or Sandy, who has a better information on that. I'm not remembering your request, Omar. If we could do it on Monday, like in 4 days, whatever it is, or I don't know how quickly the jail can do it. How soon can we ask and have them bring him over? I don't have a problem bringing him over. I remember a previous council that was also a lot of the issue was the language barrier.
Looking it up right now, Judge.
But everybody has to wear red. Okay, I'm just joking. It's Valentine's Day, Mr. Carmona.
Thanks for reminding me, Judge.
Well, you know, I hear you gotta be careful over there. Make sure, don't forget it's Valentine's Day.
I won't.
If we can do it that quickly, we can do it on Monday.
Judge, I'm so sorry to interrupt. So there's a motion to suppress scheduled for 14th with Mr. Jose Vasquez with Mr. Beal.
Mr. Beal? Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that afternoon, or I can do perhaps that Friday. The following Monday is President's Day, so then it would be the 28th if you want to do a Monday.
I would like to do it on Monday, the 14th. So I don't think Mr. Beal's client, is Mr. Beal's client in custody?
Not that I can, no, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. And I want to say that that's supposed to be an in-person, right? Mr. Beal's motion to suppress?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, at 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm okay. Are you able to do that, Mr. Carmona?
We are, Your Honor.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Is your interpreter all that, totally available? Could we put you in the afternoon?
I think I will verify that right now, but I don't think it should be a problem.
Okay, if that's helpful, Sandy, for them, I don't know if it is, maybe it has to be in the morning. But let's just see whatever we can get the jail to accommodate for us.
Do you want me to just ask the jail and they can tell me morning or afternoon?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okey doke. Okay, so what's our next setting? Next setting is March 8th, so we'll just wait till the next setting. Maybe after Monday, we have a disposition. All right.
Okay.
Okie dokie, guys. Anything else?
Nothing
Nope.
from
Not on this case.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Chewy. Thank you.
Okay, Judge Cigales on page 6.
Okay.
It's cause number 2020-0D0-0784. Cause number 2020-0D0-0048. Cause number 2019-0D0-1599. And cause number 2021-0D0-1702. State of Texas versus Andre Cigales. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Mr. Morales, are you there? It is Mr. Morales, right? Yeah. I see his.
I'm here, Judge.
Okay, great. We're on Mr. Cigales. You ready?
Yeah, Judge, sorry, I'm juggling a few
You need us
hearings
to
here.
come back. You need us to come back to you. We'll come back to you.
Okay, that's fine, Judge. I don't mind.
Yeah, we'll come right back. Go ahead, Chewy. Let's go to the next one.
Thank you, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring in Mr. Torres on page 9.
Okay.
It's cause number 2020-0D0-6532. State of Texas versus Joe Anthony Torres. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jake Spencer on behalf of Mr. Torres.
And Mr. Torres is also appearing remotely. I'm guessing Mr. Spencer, is that your client? Says Joe Torres. Yes?
Yes, Your Honor, that is.
Okay, and we're here on a motion to recall the KPS or warrant. Mr. Spencer, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, Mr. Torres is humbly surrendering himself to the mercy of this court. And just to provide some more additional information, supplemental information than I've added in the motion. As of today, he has taken 6 drug tests from the date that he learned of the positive one. And the most recent one was yesterday, and he presents a negative test today in this court. The other 5 are dated in the motion, and I believe all of them have been provided to probation. And in addition, Your Honor, he has attended all the meetings since he's been on probation. That includes 9 group alcohol counseling meetings and 3 individual counseling meetings. He's also had 0 violations on his breathalyzer mobile device, and he's up to date on those payments. He has completed 78 hours of community service since being on probation. He volunteers for his community service at the Northside Bilingual Church of Christ, where he does whatever they've really asked him to do. And that's 78 hours in a short amount of time. In addition to the court's requirements, he is also serving probation, as just to remind the court, in New Mexico as well, and he has his own fees and obligations there. Mr. Torres is humbly asking the court, surrendering himself, and asking that the court recall the warrant. and looking in light of the fact that he has taken as much initiative as he could as soon as he found out about this positive test that was the basis of the warrant.
Is there a motion? I know we had a bench warrant on the violations, but is there a motion active?
No, Your Honor.
Morning, Your Honor. I'm his probation officer, Ms. Gandara.
Yes, ma'am. I see. I'm looking at the summary, but talk to me.
Yeah, there is no motion, Your Honor.
Mhm.
The reason of the violation is due to that positive UA,
Mhm.
and the motion, the bench warrant was called on that behalf.
Is he driving, Mr. Spencer? Has anybody looked up to see if he has any tickets? I know this is fairly recent, so they may not be popping up yet. Is he driving? I know when we pled this, Mr. Spencer, due to the nature of kind of his, what he does for a living, I think it was represented that a friend was going to be taking him to all the different work gigs or whatever it is.
I did, Your Honor, if I may, I did speak to that gentleman, and that gentleman did confirm to me from the last prior travel permit request that he would be the one driving and that the client wouldn't be driving.
On the monitor, are we like checking to see where he's, when he's testing, where he is? Are they consistent with what he's representing to probation on where he's supposed to be working? Because I think he received quite a bit of flexibility when it came to that.
Yes, Your Honor. He does submit documentation for the last travel permits that he has requested as to where the performances would be at. I do verify the addresses of where he's going to perform. And then I do check the device to see if the client is in that state or if he's back. And when he says he's back, if he's indeed back in El Paso.
How often is, I know, well, a couple of things. Number one, do you have all the documentation that Mr. Spencer referenced on all those negative tests?
I do not have those, Judge. He's sending, the client has mentioned that Mr. Spencer had been sending him to some lab. I don't know where that's at, Your Honor. I only have the ones that we have been sending him to the lab that we send the clients to.
Okay. And how often was he being tested on probation? I mean, he fled not too long ago, right? When was it? Yeah, November.
So we have sent him, Judge. He did perform the last one yesterday, and we did get results for that one so that we could have a new, fairly recent UA. The one prior to that was the December 7th one, Your Honor, of 2021, which tested positive for cocaine.
So he's on probation for about a month and we test positive for cocaine, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, it was my understanding that may be my fault that these negative tests the results were submitted to probation. I am more than happy to submit those to Ms. Scandara and to the court as supplemental exhibits to show that what we're representing is accurate.
Go ahead and send them over. Let me see.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may, I believe there was I really caught on to hear something about community service.
78 hours.
I don't have any of that, Your Honor, as we don't have any sites that are open. It has been brought up to the attention, and I know that being the fact that he hasn't been working employed, he hasn't had any money to make donations, which are the only things we have available. I am not aware, he has not mentioned anything about community service as an outsource.
I can, Your Honor, again, that's my misunderstanding of, I thought that was been provided, but he has provided me with a list where there's a signature to show that he has been showing up to this bilingual Church of Christ, because that's who he's been going to for his New Mexico probation to serve his community service hours prior. So he just kind of continued that.
Your Honor, that's not an approved site. That's not through the council of judges approval list.
Okay. So let me see.
And Your Honor, if I may, when I do intake with my clients, I do tell them, make sure you only go to the list, make sure you only go to where we tell you, don't go out somewhere that's not gonna possibly give you the credit that you're working on, your community service.
What's the nature of the counseling, Ms. Gandara? It says here, because Mr. Spencer, in terms of just kind of the overall big picture, what probation is recommending is that he continue on supervision. My problem is this, I'm very familiar with your client because of his non-compliance. And I think, wasn't there a warrant when he pled? Like, wasn't there an outstanding PR violation when he pled and it was but for the plea? Was that the situation with Mr. Torres? I think we got him in here for a plea. I mean, he's never been compliant. And, testing positive for cocaine right after the fact, he might be running to go get tested now because he doesn't want a warrant, but it doesn't tell me that he's not going to continue doing what he's doing. I'm not sure. I mean, it bodes well that he isn't testing positive for alcohol, and maybe not behind a vehicle. The wheel of a vehicle. But it's just, my concern is we're just going to be here again in 3 months because, or in the summer, whenever he decides he wants to party, we're going to have it again and again. So.
And I've spoken with Mr. Torres, Your Honor, and he is asking that he be given, as gracious as this court has been in the past and everything that has occurred, as the court recalls, he's asking for that opportunity to give him those 3 months, 6 months, to, even if there's status hearings, to show that he is trying his best to be as compliant as he can. I've talked to him about this, and he understands it, Your Honor.
A couple of questions, because I don't remember. Was this a true third? And what was the New Mexico case? Was it also a DWI?
Yes, Your Honor. And there was a true third.
So his New Mexico one is his fourth? Is that what it is?
No, I believe it was the second.
Ms. King?
I'm looking it up, Judge. Just give me 1 second.
Ms. Gandara, I'm sorry, this is, I guess, reviewed by Sandra Lara, but that's your recommendation that he continue on supervision?
Yes, Your Honor. And you were asking about, we have some back feed, sorry. You were asking about counseling, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
He is attending counseling services through TAP. He's supportive outpatient.
When did that start?
He started in December, Your Honor. Let me give you the exact date.
Your Honor, this would be his fourth.
This is his fourth?
Yes.
He started counseling services December 6th, Your Honor.
And December 7th, he tested positive?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. No, the request to withdraw the KPS is denied, Mr. Spencer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who's next, Tree?
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
You may. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
May my client and myself be excused, Your Honor?
You may. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Morales is back on, Judge. We could take care of that.
Sure, let's do that.
Mr.
Thank you, for your patience, Judge. I'm juggling about 3 Zoom hearings right now, so.
Right, I could hear it, so I didn't want to try. I feel like Mr. Cigales is going to take a minute, so I didn't want to mess that. All right, let's get started. Go ahead, Tree.
Yes, Judge. It's cause number 2020-0D0-0784. Cause number 2020-0D0-0048. Cause number 2019-0D0-1599. And cause number 2021-0D0-102. State of Texas versus Andre Cigales. Announcement of counsel, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Your Honor, Leonard Morales on behalf of Mr. Cigales.
Dorothy Reyes, adult probation judge.
Okay, and so 3 of these are still our probation statuses. We're at a final judges conference on the 2021 case. I have the case summary. I did read the case summary, and the recommendation is to revoke him to straight, include weekly reporting and weekly UAs. There were, I think, some issues that were outstanding. It looks like whatever case we thought might be coming is inactive and may come later, may not. Ms. King, have you made a recommendation on the 2021 case?
No, Your Honor, I was actually seeing if we're gonna make one big recommendation on to include the probation cases as well.
Okay, but I guess you're gonna ask for probation, or are you looking at time when it
I'm
comes?
looking at time.
You're looking at time? Oh, okay. And Mr. Morales?
I guess that sort of answers my question, Judge. I guess we'll need to set up for a contested revocation and put it in your hands. As far as the new case is concerned, the failure to register, I don't know. I think we have some defensible issues there, but nevertheless, I'm going to discuss with my client the possibility of maybe doing it judge alone, so we can forego the need for a jury. I think this is really kind of a legal, technical issue, not necessarily one that it requires a jury, but it would require the DA's consent, I understand. But I think all things being equal, what really concerns me is that pending matter, the one that we've been waiting to hear about for months now, and we don't really have an answer. I mean, I hate to leave that kind of thing dangling over my client's head and waiting to see what may transpire. I mean, we've got a lot to deal with here, judges. I know the court's well aware of Mr. Cigales' situation, and I'm well aware of it since I've been dealing with him for quite a while. But there's just a lot there. It's not like we're just, I just have a burglary hab that we're doing revocation on. There's quite a bit there.
In terms of what was I think a potential new allegation with a different complainant, what I'm understanding from the case summary is that it looks like this year, I'm not sure what the date is on that, Miss Reyes, is that the case was classified as inactive. I don't know if they're having difficulty with that complainant or what's going on, but
she's listed as a runaway now, and they can't find her, so the case is inactive as they have not been able to complete the forensic interview from the alleged victim.
So with Mr. Cigales, in terms of the probation cases, I am in line with I'll just throw this out there. I am in line with the probation's recommendation, which is to revoke to straight with a little bit of stricter reporting requirements and testing. So that's what I will throw into the mix. But I was looking for on Odyssey was the new case, and I can't find it. I can only see the probation. Let me see.
Yeah, for your purposes, Ms. King, the new allegation, I guess the failure to register. I mean, I guess I could convince my client to plead to that if we kind of package it along with the rest of his probation and kind of get him started again and see how he does. But my bigger concern was that new allegation of a new underage girlfriend, et cetera. That was kind of the thing that was kind of going to push things off the cliff. But I don't mind clamping down on him some more. I think that's appropriate. But I know that Judge Perez and I have a lot of familiarity with Mr. Cigales, and you're kind of coming in later in the game. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
So look, in terms of the new case, I don't see that going to trial, sure not on the 11th, but we're going to keep that. We're not coming back until March 8th for the final hearing plea deadline. Why doesn't everybody go back, see where we are? If we need to set up some revos, we will plan to do that after we discuss on March 8th. Okay. But I think realistically, if we need to put this for trial or some, I don't want to give it a backup date yet. I think we'll just see where we are in March. If you all are thinking it will be a trial and you might be waiving jury, let me know too, because that means a whole lot of difference in scheduling than a jury trial does. So not saying do it, I'm just saying, just know that if you all are in agreement with that, we could probably move it quicker. But
Yeah, the only thing that bugs me about that at this point, Judge, is that my, Mr. Cigales has been in custody all this time, and we're kind of, in a holding pattern with this. And
so are you telling me you want that March trial setting? Because this is what I would have to do.
To be honest, Judge, I can't do the March trial setting because I'll be out of town. But
Okay, well, hold on a second. It would have to be on the 17th and 18th because I do not have a panel for March 11th.
I understand, Judge.
First of
I guess
all,
I could discuss with Ms. King if we wanted to do that judge alone. I wouldn't mind doing that judge alone, and we could go from there. But
Mr. Morales,
I don't know if we need to go that way.
I can contact you tomorrow. I do see that he's been in for quite a time. So
yeah,
let me review these cases today and then I will get back to you tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough. And I guess we'll touch base with you, Judge, but I don't think I can do it in March because I'll be out of town for a couple of weeks. I have a vacation certificate in, and I'm going to try and take a vacation.
Sandy, let's go ahead and add a backup date of April 7th and 8th.
Yes, ma'am.
For the jury trial. We're gonna leave everything else the same. I just want to keep you on my radar because of the
April's fine, Judge. Yeah, April's fine. Yeah, that's okay.
All right. We'll see where we are in Murchie. Who's next, Tree?
Judge, may I be excused now?
Thank you, Ms. Reyes.
Judge, the add-on that we have is Ivan Corral.
Oh, yeah.
It should be logging on, Judge.
Okay.
There she is. Cause number.
On this one?
I'm sorry, Judge?
Does she have an attorney?
Yes, Your Honor, it says.
Oh, okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Cause number 2018-000-3475. State of Texas versus Ivan Corral. Announcement of council, please.
Bella King for the state of Texas.
Julia Martin on behalf of Mrs. Corral, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. Corral is appearing remotely. I think we were here just on Tuesday, were we not?
Yes, Your Honor, but we weren't aware that she was in the waiting area. And my client is having some issues. She is currently homeless right now. She's staying at hotels here in El Paso County, but she doesn't have any more money to stay here. She has a daughter, Brianna Garcia, who was very instrumental in getting us the breathalyzer machine for her. Mm-hmm. And the daughter has a place for her to stay, but it is in Round Rock, Texas. Mm-hmm. The issue is that Mrs. Corral is waiting for a voucher from the El Paso Housing Authority, and she will have a place to stay here in El Paso once she gets that voucher. It's just not forthcoming. It'll be in about 2 weeks, and she just does not have the money to stay here in El Paso, Your Honor. So she was asking perhaps if you could give her a travel permit to go and stay with the daughter for at least 2 weeks until she gets her voucher.
Mr. Ressa, are you the probation officer on this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And we've got confirmation on the monitor. We're compliant.
She's in compliance with the monitor, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Let me see what this is. Okay. Yeah, what is any issues you all have with a travel permit probation?
No, Your Honor. Ms. Corral mentioned that she had family to stay here in El Paso, and she's been telling me about the 2 weeks, like for a month now. So I'm just concerned that it's gonna take her more than 2 weeks to get the voucher. But I did go ahead and ask Ms. Avila, the CLO, and she told me to send you an email. So I was in the process of doing that because my supervisor needs to approve it first. And then the court hearing was set up.
Okay, the request, Julia, is that she be allowed to travel there until her housing voucher is secured. So that sounds a little open-ended to me. I will approve the travel for a period of 2 weeks. What that means for Ms. Corral is, Ms. Corral, you need to be in contact with probation and with your attorney, because if we're up on the 2 weeks and we don't have a status, and I mean a status, not just, oh, I haven't received it yet, like an update saying, well, and I'm sorry, I don't know how that works. I don't know if you're able to call in, check a website, whatever it is to find out status, if it's being mailed, if it's on its way, if it's not forthcoming. I want that update if she's not back in 2 weeks, Julia, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all righty. So we will set that for 2 weeks out, just for a status. Your
Thank you.
client will be required to appear, okay? I also would like to know, Ms. Raza, if at some point she's not compliant with that monitor, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes,
Thank
Your
you very
Honor.
much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck to you. Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Thank you.
Who's next, Chuy?
Okay, Judge, page 9, Perla Perez.
Okay, go ahead.
It's cause number 2019-0D06358, State of Texas versus Perla. Announcement to council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Is Ms. Perez here, and didn't she have an attorney?
Yes, I'm here.
Did she have her attorney or no? Now I don't remember if she did or not.
Last
Maybe
hearing, she did not, Judge.
She did not? Okay, Ms. Perez, where's your drug test?
Ms. Brenda says she has submitted it to you already.
Okay, did something change, Carla? Because
Good
I got
morning, Judge.
told that no.
Good morning, Your Honor.
No.
Hold on, Ms. Perez.
If I may, it was right now, maybe around 10 o'clock that I did receive the message from Ms. Salayandia that Ms. Perez did in fact go this morning to get tested. Her results were negative. So that is an update for you, Judge.
That's pretty much the whole.
And I apologize. I
You just
thought
got.
Ms. Martin was her attorney.
That's okay, no worries. I think I was getting her and Ms. Corral done. So she
I-
terms in a week, right?
Yes, Judge.
Your Honor, we have requested a VN as well.
Okay. That's the only thing I was requiring at this point. So, Ms. Perez, assuming you don't really mess up in the next 7 days, you can anticipate that you will no longer be on probation, okay? But you got to be in contact with probation on that. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Who's next, Chuy?
Okay, Judge, page 9 as well. And he should be logging on.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2017-0D03816, State of Texas versus Nicholas Tyler Hahn. Announcement to council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Mr. Is it Han or Han? Han? Are you there? Does he have an attorney, Chuy? I don't show an attorney.
No, Judge, I don't see an attorney on file as well.
Okay, was this filed by probation, Carla? Or requested by probation?
Yes, Your Honor. The officer, Ms. Rivera, had submitted an email to you on January 27th. She had submitted the early discharge with a summary letting you know that the department was recommending Mr. Hahn's early discharge. You had requested for a drug test to be submitted the Monday before the hearing. This test was taken and it was negative results.
Okay. Mr. Hahn, are you there? Please unmute if you're there.
Judge, let me remove him. It could be that he hasn't connected yet, and then that way maybe he'll get his attention.
Your Honor, his rap sheet is also clean. I ran one this morning.
Thank you. Miss King. Sheesh.
Your Honor, he had also submitted 3 letters. I don't know if you
I saw, I reviewed his, I was just trying to, I reviewed everything while you guys were doing your thing earlier. So I have a notation here. I just need him to connect to audio so we can be done. Mr. Hahn, could you please unmute? Mr. Hahn, are you there? If Carla, if you have contact information on him, like, can give him a call, unless, oh, there he is. Mr. Hahn, I can see you now, but I can't hear you. So I don't believe you're connected to audio. And I'm not sure how to tell you to do that.
Can you hear us now?
Oh, yes, I can. Okay, Mr. Hahn. Well, I thought you were there earlier, and so we were discussing briefly just kind of the background, and I'd reviewed the correspondence. I believe there was one last request. This was recommended by probation, and they are still recommending same. You have no criminal incidents that was represented by the DA's office, so I'm going to grant your motion for early discharge. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And you may be excused. Who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge, to go before you and be on the record, there should be, I'm just waiting for some attorneys to show up so we can take care of it.